Parents closely watch what their kids eat, but a flurry of lawsuits is now raising safety concerns over many popular brands of baby and kids foods. And the families say what's in those foods is now leading to long-term brain developmental issues. KXAN investigator Arezow Doost tonight with what parents need to know.
My youngest is high functioning autistic. My daughter's ADHD. My second son's ADHD. My oldest is on spectrum of autism.
Destiny Mirella's kids range from 9 to 16 years old. She says for years she tried to understand what could have caused each diagnosis.
I have no family history of autism in my family at all. I've researched it.
The mom from outside Houston says she now thinks it was what she was feeding her kids when they were babies. She says it became clear to her after a congressional report was released last year and found a number of baby foods with high levels of heavy metals.
Our bodies naturally need some metals, but those metals can be highly toxic, especially to babies and children.
Chandler Duncan is with Environmental Litigation Group out of Alabama. The law firm has started taking cases like the Mireles families and so far have 1,600 nationwide. 100 of them out of Texas.
What are these cases claiming?
Some of them have an autism diagnosis for their children, an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. Some of these children have delayed speech, delayed motor skills, behavioral issues, difficulty sleeping.
Duncan points to the congressional report. It says that the baby foods from 4 of the largest companies were tainted with dangerous levels of arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. The report says metals can be especially dangerous to babies and toddlers' brain development, and that the baby foods containing toxic heavy metals have no label or warning.
If we can't get those products off the shelves, at least we can raise awareness so that people stop purchasing them and their children can stop consuming them and being harmed by it.
Do you now look at every ingredient?
I have to watch everything at this point.
Mireles says she didn't think about the potential impact of the metals when feeding her younger kids early on. She now researches all ingredients.
Something has to be done.
Arezow Doost, KXAN investigates.
The law firm is still taking cases and says families can get between $100,000 to over $1 million, depending on the severity of the case once those lawsuits are filed. Duncan says they're still investigating and will have to file each case individually. We did reach out to the companies named in many of the claims. Hear from one of them online. Just head to KXAN.com and click on this story. Now, the FDA announced an action plan called Closer to Zero back in October to reduce toxic elements in foods for babies and young children to as low as possible. A bill known as the Baby Food Safety Act was introduced after the congressional report. It does urge the FDA to set maximum and acceptable levels of dangerous heavy metals in baby foods. It was referred to the subcommittee on health.